Live at 11 on the WHAS 1119. Well, this live view certainly says it all. This rainy Friday has turned into a rainy Friday night. But here at 11 o'clock, we've got brand new updates for you on the end of the rain for your Saturday. After all, we don't want it raining on our parade tomorrow. We're walking in the 51st St. Patrick's Parade. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. Meteorologist Colleen Peterson is following the rain on our live Max HD radar. And Colleen, at least you can say it's green.
Yeah, it is green, right? Lucky for St. Patrick's Day, and lucky that most of the rain will be done by 10 o'clock tomorrow. Just some lingering sprinkles. So we're dry for the parade, which is good. Maybe an isolated sprinkle out there, but this cold front is going to cool us off fairly quickly tomorrow afternoon. So I think our main focus will be the cold temperatures for that parade. Right now on that radar, we are still seeing those light showers. It has been continuous. Zooming on into Jefferson County, a few sprinkles out there, and it's all very light. It's almost like it's not even reaching the surface. But I can tell you over Salem to English, when we start to get some of those yellow and red colors, that's indicating some heavier showers. So some heavier rain over English and Crawford County over to Salem. That'll continue to track off to the northeast, and we have a lot more on the way. You think it would be done by now, but by the time we get towards 5 o'clock, that last batch will move through. So some good sleeping weather tonight with that front passing at 4 o'clock in the morning. This is going to make our temperatures get colder as the day goes on. I'll tell you how cold it will be behind that front tomorrow and time out those showers for your Saturday coming up. Doug?
Thank you, Colleen. Now to our top story happening at this hour. All directions of the Sherman-Minton Bridge connecting Louisville to New Albany are closed indefinitely. This is a live view of the I-64 Sherman-Minton upper deck. The normal drive time seen on the 64 bridge falling silent just before 1:30 this afternoon. Crews finding a deck component is now in need of inspection and possible repair. And that's not the only bridge story we have for you in this newscast. It has been a bad day for our local bridges, folks, but we want to start with Shermageddon all over again. The sudden shutdown of the Sherman-Minton Bridge, bringing back the nightmares of what's happened with this bridge in the past, especially after promises of regular traffic returning to the bridge by late spring. WHAS 1119's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester are joining us live right now. And Connor, what can you tell us? What's new at this hour?
Well, Doug, we just checked minutes ago. Still no update as to why the bridge shut down, if it will need repairs, and how long it will remain closed, and a headache to many in New Albany.
Downtown New Albany, another day brings with it another bridge closure.
Along with the weather today, it was very unfortunate.
Ricky Frank, owner of Mr. Nice Guys, knows well the constraints it can put on business.
Oh, it's a barrier, obviously. Yeah, it's a barrier. It affects all of downtown.
This is our third time speaking with him in the last half year.
The gut initial feeling is fear, but then you got to calmly reassure yourself that these things happen, and it will not be the end of the world.
West and eastbound lanes on both decks now shut down. Empty traffic pouring over onto the pavement downtown. The bridge construction team says the unexpected closure came after crews working on Sherman-Minton's main span found a component needing immediate inspection and possible repairs.
It hasn't hurt me a whole lot because they've had one lane open. It hurts me when both lanes are closed.
Barbara Haas's winery off Pearl Street opened back up in 2021, within months of the bridge renewal project start.
So that kind of puts me in a bind.
But seldom does she remember a time quite like this, where the timeline remains so up in the air.
Oh, I'm definitely worried. I'm going from 2 slow months, getting ready to get into busy season, and now it's going to be slow again because the bridge is down.
With the bridge down in New Albany, and customers canceling reservations.
I've already had several that have canceled. I've had a party of 20 that canceled.
All she and other businesses can do is hope the Sherman-Minton's reopening is not a bridge too far away.
Like we said, at this time, the bridge remains shut down indefinitely. Anyone affected is suggested and encouraged to take the alternate routes. Those are I-65 and I-265. For now, we're live in New Albany. Connor Steffen, the WHAS 1119 on your side.
Connor, thanks for that new update. Also new at 11, an update on the damaged 95-year-old Clark Memorial Bridge, the 2nd Street Bridge. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says they are right now fabricating replacement steel to make repairs to the damaged section of the bridge and the pedestrian walkway railing. They say a construction timeline is currently being developed. And as the world knows, the Clark Memorial was the scene of last Friday's dramatic rescue of a Cisco Foods Company semi-driver as the truck dangled right over the edge. Right now, the Transportation Department is also considering traffic impacts from the Sherman-Minton Bridge closure, and the goal is to get both bridges reopened as safely and as quickly as possible. Now, all new tonight to the drama on the Ohio River late today for a group of runaway coal barges that hit a downtown railroad bridge. It's an update to the breaking news we showed you as it was happening live at 6. On the night team, we're getting amazing new views over the river as the recovery unfolded. Take a look at this drone video from Rich Ammon. He's flying it west of downtown Louisville. You can see the skyscrapers at the top of your screen. 10 barges broke free around 4 o'clock, resting sideways on the 14th Street Railroad Bridge, also known as the Louisville, Indiana Bridge. Here's a photo from that drone. You can see 8 of the barges stranded. The towboat is working hard to get them removed. And look right on the bridge. A train is going over it at the very same time. The U.S. Coast Guard says the coal barges had just exited the McAlpin Locks and Dam when they broke free. 8 of the barges came to a rest, but 2 of them sunk by the lower dam gates right next to the LG&E hydroelectric plant. Now, take a look at our time lapse from our WHAS11 tower cameras. This is after 7 o'clock, and you can see how quickly the big towboats with their lights on are pulling the barges away. In this video, you see 2 of them left. It's just another example of one of our oldest bridges taking a beating, but keeping on ticking. The U.S. Coast Guard in Louisville told us late tonight that the railroad bridge was immediately inspected today, and there is no damage. Another family member now under arrest in the Jamie Null investigation. This story developed late today. The former Clark County, Indiana sheriff's daughter, now in jail, arrested and charged with 9 felonies of her own. Casey Null was booked into the Scott County, Indiana jail today, charged with 5 counts of theft and 4 counts of tax evasion. She's accused of charging nearly $100,000 worth of personal items to the Utica Township Volunteer Firefighters Association credit cards. Those items include clothing, Netflix, tanning, and vaping material. She then failed to report those charges as personal income on her taxes. Her first court appearance is scheduled for Monday morning. But that wasn't the only new development in the Jamie Null ongoing case today. The family of Null's late brother now, Leon, has filed a petition to reopen his estate. They claim Jamie ripped them off and instead enriched himself and his daughter. Police say Null sold Leon's house to his own daughter, Casey, for $180,000 and then gave her $36,000 of equity in the house. However, police say that money should have been given to Leon's kids.
Each one of the heirs received a distribution, but it is our contention that it was not all that they were entitled to. They are in disbelief. What they've shared with me was that this was such a low point for them. They had just lost their father, and, he completely took advantage of them.
Attorney Amy Wheatley there, who is representing Leon's 3 children, says their petition to reopen the estate will also need a special judge appointed, just like Jamie Null's criminal case. That could take a few days. Meantime, in Bardstown, new developments in the Crystal Rogers disappearance case. Steve Lawson has added his name to a petition to move his trial out of Nelson County. An attorney for Lawson says he can't get a fair trial in Nelson County. They also want their trial to be held in either Boyd or Davis counties. Davis is Owensboro in western Kentucky. Brooks Houck, the chief suspect in the case, made the same request this week. Houck, Lawson, and Lawson's son Joseph have all been charged in connection with the disappearance and death of the Bardstown mother, Crystal Rogers. All 3 are expected to be back in court in a few days on March 21st. Well, today marks 1 year since the U.S. Department of Justice released that scathing report into Louisville Metro Police and Metro government. And as Metro government and the DOJ negotiate a consent decree on reform efforts, we've learned that you'll have the chance to be part of the process. Councilmember Tammy Hawkins says the DOJ has agreed to host community meetings on the consent decree later this spring. Right now, the DOJ is requiring the early draft and negotiations to remain confidential. Once the consent decree is agreed upon, an independent monitor will then measure the progress. Ultimately, a judge will decide whether the city is meeting a constitutional standard. Meantime, the University of Louisville and the Mayor's Office of Equity have released a study called The History of Policing in Louisville. This report looks back at policing in our city, identifying patterns of institutional harm and how to change them. Mayor Craig Greenberg says in order to improve the Louisville Metro Police Department, it's important to know where we came from.
This was something that the city had committed to a while back, and I think it's important that we get that out there because as we seek to make LMPD the most trusted, the most trained, the most transparent police department in the country, it's important that we know where we came from.
The mayor's office is planning a community listening session in the next few weeks where people can share their thoughts and reactions to that report. Cleanup continues after the massive apartment fire in the New Lou neighborhood. More than 6 residents lost their homes. Now people are struggling to recover their items left behind as they escaped the burning apartment complex. Well, residents weren't allowed to go back into that building after firefighters put the fire out. The fire marshal ordered the demolition of the building. Now some residents are telling us looters are taking advantage of the situation. Ricky Braxton tells us that he and his neighbors noticed strangers entering the site before the building was cleared out. And if you look closely at this video, you can see a man rummaging through the debris in the darkness. Since this video was recorded, some of those whose belongings were taken have been able to track their items all across the city.
There was no security at the time. It's been on and off. My AirPods were actually at the hospital the other day. Somebody's phone was down the street.
We asked the Louisville Fire Department for an update today. They tell us this case is still being investigated, the fire that is, and right now they do not have a cause for the fire. Happening news since 6. Louisville and JCPS turned out to be the big topic tonight on KET's Comment on Kentucky, shown statewide live at 8. WHAS11 senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez joined the panel of political reporters, including Sarah Ladd and Rylan Barton. Comment anchor Bill Bryant asked if Louisville is taking any bold measures to help the growing Louisville homeless population. Isaiah talked about Mayor Craig Greenberg's community care campus, which we've covered extensively on WHAS 11 News.
And the only problem is funding is not all there, and even when they do announce those who will run the project in this case, there's no clear timeline as to when it will open. As of right now, construction is tentatively planned to start toward the second half of 2024, but even then this puts this quite a bit down the line and no near sight of it finishing.
Comment on Kentucky airs through the weekend and again Sunday at noon. It is KET's oldest public affairs program. WHAS 11 reporters have contributed to it since the mid-1970s.